When I first got into programming, like a lot of young men my generation, I wanted to build video games. But as I learned more and studied engineering at the university, etc., I realized that there was a lot of parts of programming and software development I enjoyed. And I really fell in love with the web. I love that platform. I love how easy it is to build something and publish it. And that's sort of been my career ever since. And I regret absolutely nothing. I think the web is a fantastic platform. But a couple of years ago, I thought I would take a look at trying to build a game. So I downloaded Unity, which is one of the most popular game engines, and thought it'd be fun to try and learn it and see if I can build like a simple 3D game. And the number one thing that hit me immediately was just how different this process was to what I was used to as a web developer. See, when I'm building a website or SaaS application or anything like that, the basic process is I sit around coding in a text editor. Then I go to my browser window. I check that the changes I've made are working the way they should. I go back to my text editor, code some more, and then I repeat that process all the time. But here I am sitting inside the game engine, and right there in front of me is the game I'm building. And if I want to change anything, I can click on any object in the game and change its properties in a visual environment. And it's not just how things look or how they're positioned, it's how they behave as well. So I can go and change the behavior and logic of any game element right there with the visual programming language. And I realized this isn't just because I'm a beginner and don't really know what I'm doing, but game studios have the same process when building AAA games. They have level designers and game designers and character designers working in the same tool alongside their engineers, bringing this shared vision of a game to life. And I couldn't help but think, why don't we do this when building web apps? And I thought I knew why, because I'd tried FrontPage, I'd tried Dreamweaver, I'd tried all these tools and the new generation of no-code tools promising you to build websites and web apps without writing any code. And every one of them had the same problem, right? Very quickly after you start building, you start hitting these limitations of what the tool can actually do. You have to bring in a ton of custom code to sort of work around the tool. And it gets very complicated quickly, right? Much more complicated often than building from scratch in code. And at the same time, accessibility is almost always a problem, and the performance tends to be really, really poor compared to coded applications, right? So I thought these were all inherent problems, but now I'm sitting in this game engine, and this is a tool designed for building games that run at like 120 frames per second on what is essentially a mobile phone that's been strapped to your face in terms of the Oculus Quest, right? So clearly, they're not inherent problems. They're just problems with the tools we use. So if this is possible to build for games that have all these requirements that have to run in 3 dimensions, surely it must be possible to do for web applications that are significantly simpler and run in 2 dimensions, right? So inspired by this idea of a game engine, but for building web apps, I teamed up with my co-founder Casper to start Nordcraft, which is what we call a web development engine. It's an interactive design tool that sits on top of a powerful web framework and has all the different tools built into it you need to create incredible web applications and interactive experiences on the web. The visual design interface makes it really easy to create beautiful, compelling UIs in Nordcraft. And at the same time, the logic editor and data panel lets you fetch data from any backend and use it inside your Nordcraft application. Anything you can build on the web, you can build in Nordcraft. In fact, it's so powerful, we use Nordcraft every single day to build the Nordcraft editor. So our designers are working side by side with engineers in the same application, building the user interface and crafting the user experience. And that allows our engineers to focus on what they do best, which is the business logic and complex algorithms that powers our editor. We really believe this way of working is the future of web development. And if you want to go and try it now, go to nordcraft.com and sign up for free.